Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review The Mark of the Bell Witch. And this is a documentary from Seth Breedlove, who I've looked at quite a few of his films at this point, whether it's Mothman or Bigfoot, and he has a tendency to be making these documentaries about all these strange creatures that are all out there. And this particular film focuses on the Bell Witch of Adams, Tennessee, which may or may not have been influenced upon the Blair Witch. And this documentary opens up with the scene, a black and white scene of a man in his deathbed. And that's one particular thing about this film, is that it really works on a documentary and also has these dramatizations of what's being spoken about during the different sequences and tales that are told during the film. And let's start with the documentarian parts. You have these historians and folklorists who have a lot of insight to not only the geographical and societal influences of the region, which is very interesting that they set up in early parts of this film, but also have a great understanding of all the different tales and occurrences that may or may not have happened revolving around the Bell Witch. And what they're able to bring to the table is very insightful and interesting, and towards the end of the film we get some interesting insights on what possibly could or could not be results of this Bell Witch. But throughout the film, it starts getting to the part where you have a bunch of different chapters, different specific occurrences and stories, which, to be fair, after a while get a little repetitive. And this hour and 25-minute documentary starts to feel a little long. And along with these specific stories, what we get during this film is these dramatizations that are shot in black and white. Some of those sequences are quite frightening and pretty effective jump scares and creepiness. With the portrayal of the witch, everybody else in these sequences, the acting is really flat and horrible costume and makeup with these terrible wigs, and just really awful acting really makes these dramatizations feel awkward and kind of take you out of the film. And that's a shame, because there's some fascinating stories that they're trying to portray here, and they just overdo it. And combined with the fact that it does get a little long in the tooth and repetitive after a while of saying so many stories that have similar occurrences and outcomes, that this film turns out to be a lot less interesting and entertaining than I thought it could have been based off of how the film started. And by the time you get to the end, you had a very run-of-the-mill, down-the-middle kind of documentary that has some interesting elements and some other elements that really bring the product down, bring the quality of the film down, and they're distracting. And that's a shame, because there's some scary, creepy, unnerving stories that they portray in this film, and I wish that they could have lived up to their potential. But in the end, Seth Breedlove continues his streak of making some interesting and engrossing documentaries that, you know, might not have the biggest budgets, might not have the best quality in terms of technical standpoints, but will definitely make you learn a lot about some very creepy things. But those are my thoughts on The Mark of the Bell Witch. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.